spend a lot of time on
I spend a lot of time at the sites. I go to the sites at least 4 times a year, every site.
That's interesting. So you're not one of these sort of remote, dirt on a spreadsheet kind of guys. You like to go and actually see what's happening on the ground.
You don't make money in Toronto. You make money at the sites. And my view is if we're going to ask people to live at these sites, then we should be at the sites.
Fantastic.
So I stay at the site. I spend up to a week at the site. I eat in the cafeteria. I drink the coffee. And I listen to our employees.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
You must pick up a thing or two there.
I pick up a lot.
You're a big employer there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we have, with contractors, we have 2,000 people.
Right.
So,
and I imagine the tax as well must contribute to the community.
We've been an operator there, Matt, for 15 years.
Right.
When you consider the payroll tax, when you consider the royalties taxes from the mine and the spin-off, it's $4 billion.
Wow. Net contribution.
Yeah.
Wow.
For a country that has 500,000 people.
That's phenomenal.
It is.
I didn't realize it was that big. Can you give us a 2-minute summary of IAMGOLD? I know it's a huge company, but see if you can encapsulate what it is that you've got there.
Well, the best way to describe IAMGOLD is that it's reinvented itself. So when I joined the company almost 9 years ago, low-grade mines in what I would call higher risk districts. And I got headhunted out of Enbridge, where I was in oil and gas, running the U.S. operations and international. So they liked the commercial success I had at Enbridge. Yeah. So they brought me into IAMGOLD to quote unquote reinvent it. It was struggling, and we have.
What did you come in as? Is it operational?
President CEO.
President CEO.
And we have a fantastic Chief Operating Officer, Gord Stoddard. We have a first-class, world-class CFO, Carol Banducci, Jeff Snow. All these people have significant mining experience. I was the one with the resource experience, not the mining experience. But what I think I brought, and I think demonstrated, is the commercial side.
Well, I guess that, because one of the numbers I saw stood out on your website was the cost-cutting exercise that you've been through. I mean, it's a big number.
It is.
Tell people how much.
Well, we were running our all-in sustaining costs. The accountants use short form it to ASIC, was running upwards towards $1,600 an ounce. You know, when gold was at 2,000, we were making money. Our stock was
however
high. Right. So when it turned and went south towards 1,000, we were the first movers in cutting costs, and we brought our overall ASIC down to 1,050. And this was off forecasted cost growth that, as I say, would have obliterated our balance sheet, our shareholders.
Yeah.
We sold assets. We have historically carried somewhere between 700 and 800 million in cash on the balance sheet. We have no bank debt.
That's today's number?
Yes.
Right, okay. That's a lot of cash.
Yes, it is.
A lot of dry powder.
When you look at our company compared to any mid-tier, other 16 mid-tiers, our net cash position is the strongest of any company.
Yeah.
So
why?
Well, I'm 63 years old, and I say to people I've been to Vietnam. And what I mean by that is I went through 6 down cycles in the oil business. Yeah. And you know, when I had success at Enbridge, and they decided to send me to charm school, so they sent me to Harvard.
It worked. That's the good news.
Not according to other people.
Right.
But thank you for saying that.
Right.
But so I went to Harvard for 4 months. I was 50 years old, and I took one thing away, which I probably already knew, but it was reinforced.
Right.
Never run out of cash. And when you're in a commodity business, you don't want to even look like you're going to run out of cash, because the mezzanine financing that comes with it, the cost of it is so destructive. The equity raises are so dilutive. Yeah. You lose your company.
For sure.
And so when I got to IAMGOLD, and again with the help of Carol Banducci, who is a world-class CFO, we've built that balance sheet up.
And that mentality.
Yes. We do not.
Because I remember back in 2012, 13, these were difficult times when obviously the price of gold changed. Yes. But the mentality was there was so much money around, it didn't matter about the little stuff. Your attitude was, well, actually, it really
I went into the Montreal office. We cut 76% of our staff.
Right.
In
real quick.
2 days.
Okay.
Terrible times. Toronto, 33% cuts. Sites, 26%.
Right.
Brought down our costs. No one, unless you're traveling to these remote places, you travel economy.
I think that's fascinating because when I look at large multinationals or billion dollar plus type companies, a couple of $1 million, it's got to come from the top. Yeah. That mentality of travel economy, you don't need to spend that. Or I've often heard the phrase is, if it was your money, would you spend it? And quite often the answer is no. But the big company mentality is kind of curse, right, in a way. And so you came in day one and said, right, something's got to change here.
Right. So 2016, we were the best performing stock on the TSX. 2017, we're the third best.
Right.
And we started that voyage in 2013 when we started to cut costs. So our stock went up 486%.
Well, I can remind you the number. The number on your website, 175 million.
Yeah.
From 2013 onwards.
Yeah.
That's a big
So
number.
we had a lot of people make a lot of money. We've seen a lot of Asian interest in the stock. So these same shareholders or investors that I had in oil and gas, I would say 11% of our shareholding at IAMGOLD are these investors. So when you look at the support we have and the belief and the commitment, it's there. And this is money that doesn't turn over every day and doesn't turn over every month. They're long-term investors.
Well, I mean, maybe we could come on to that because we'll ask about shareholders later in terms of behavior, etc. But I just want to stick with the thinking because this is the fascinating bit to me and a lot of people. We don't normally get access to the thought process. So you come in, you realize that gold price is on the way down, your ASIC is too high. Something's got to change. You're making big swathing cuts. So how do you go into a large organization like yours? I mean, because I think at the time I don't know how many billion it was, but there's a lot of different moving parts.
Yes.
So how do you compartmentalize that?
Probably the best example I can give you is when I first came to the company, our administrative staff was looking to move out of the building we were in. We're in the old Simpson Tower,
right,
in Bay and Queen Street.
Yeah.
And the HVAC is terrible. The offices are old, and this is no criticism of who is there because they're gone now. Mm-hmm. But they had a schedule to move into the TD Square, and I said that's not happening because we're going to increase our corporate costs by a factor of 4 by moving into these taller buildings that have more glass and look pretty. And there was a sort of a shock. And I said, look, I was born and raised on a farm in southern Ontario, and I lived with 2 brothers and 3 sisters in a farmhouse. Yeah. And when beef prices fell, you cut costs. And so it's no different.
Same rules apply.
Cut.
Yep.
And you lead by example. I flew economy. Where we could, we doubled up in the hotels. We spent as much time at the camp as possible, so we weren't paying hotel bills. If you wanted to go to dinner, you pay for the wine. Yeah. I'm not signing expense reports for $400 bottles of wine, which they had gotten used to. And so all of those things, and again, this was caused by the fact that gold had gone up so quickly. Yeah. People started to party, and we had to stop the party.
Yeah, they lose their minds.
Yeah. We have the lowest G&A per ounce of any gold company.
Okay. I interview a lot of junior companies, right? And I ask them, have you got a business plan? 9 times out of 10, no, we're going to drill holes. That's the business plan, right there, okay? With a large corporation with thousands of employees, there needs to be some rigor, organization, process. So with these departments, different departments, and you're going around cutting costs and stuff, were you setting targets? I mean, how do you target people? How do you make them accountable?
I learned a lesson from a fellow named Howard McDonald in the oil and gas business when Dome Petroleum got into trouble. I was 25 years old and I got hired to be his assistant. Right. When he came from Scotland, He said to me, Steve, the first thing I want you to do is have all the expense reports audited.
Yeah.
So when I came to IAMGOLD, I had every expense report audited. And
for you nervous people?
a lot of people that weren't there a month later.
Right.
The abuse that had grown into the system.
So systematic abuse. Right.
Not
unusual at that time.
No, not unusual. These are human beings.
Right.
Dental work.
Nice.
Trips.
My best one on a set of expenses, scuba outfit. which was a good one. It was inland project, so it's pretty good.
And we've carried that practice. So every quarter, the expense reports of the top 10 officers are published for everybody to see.
Right. That's interesting.
And my expense report is public information. And so the cost of the hotels, the cost of the meals, the cost of the limos, taxis.
Right.
I'm not going to ask people to do something I'm not willing to do. And that was the culture we started. And, you know, they're good people. It's just that bad behavior had developed in frothy times. So when we cut all that back, we still live to that mantra. And you have to watch it, Matt, because it'll creep back too.
It will. It's just human nature, as you said earlier, right?
Yeah, and I'm no different than anybody. I have to check myself and say, hey, wait a minute now.